Hey guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Whether you are a returning viewer or you're brand new to my channel today, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you decide to stick around for the entirety of the video because today we are building what I think I'm going to call a cozy fall home. So if you can't tell, we are building in Brindleton Bay today. We are building on the 30 by 20 lot Dachsund Creek. It is like off in the upper right hand corner of the Brindleton Bay map. And I don't know, I really like this lot. This lot is very tucked away, it seems. It's still very much part of the neighborhood, but it's off on its own little private lot, and it's near this little, I guess, like creek that kind of runs into the ocean. They've got like a nice little waterfall off to like the right of the screen from where we are now, and it's just perfect to build a cozy fall home. So this build does end up being 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and I believe the total price ends up being right around 87,391 simoleons. There ends up being a sunroom downstairs that is just adorable. It's really cute. It's just a nice little area to relax, maybe read a book, and I do end up placing an art easel in there as well. I didn't necessarily go into this build having any particular family in mind, no specific characteristics or anything like that, but you will see as the build starts to come more together, especially once we get into the bedrooms, that they are more specific for certain sims. But we will just talk about the exterior a little bit right now. So I was looking at a reference photo on Pinterest for just like the front portion of the house. There was just a really cute house that I found on Pinterest. I kind of liked the layout of it, and it looks pretty identical, except I chose this darker wood tone, or it's not even wood tone, it's just a brown siding exterior. And I also got inspired for these colors from a house that's actually in our neighborhood. So it's brown, pretty much the same exact colored brown. They have black trim, which unfortunately the lighting on this lot, and I feel like most lots, when it comes to like black exteriors, they don't look black. They just look like a really deep brown, almost like that espresso brown. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but I just wish it looked as dark as like the front door and the back door that I end up using here. I just wish they looked that dark, because those look black from here even. But either way, the house that I say we because I'll get into that in a second, but basically there's this house, it's brown with the black trim and white, also white trim. Well, it's what am I trying to say? It's like black roofing trim, but then white accents. So all of like their trim to their windows and stuff are white. So I got inspiration from 2 different things, and I was able to combine them, which was kind of nice. And then let me just get into the whole we thing. So when I was building this house, I had told my husband prior what color scheme I wanted to go for, and when we were going on a walk one day, I was like, I want to do a house that is like this, not shape-wise or anything, just color. And he was like, yeah, that's a really nice color, especially since you're trying to do a fall build and whatnot. So it was nice to be able to I always kind of tell him for the most part, oh, I just did a build this, I just finished that one build that's been taking me forever, and like I'm doing my screenshots. So he is kind of involved in the things that I do when it comes to this channel, but it was nice to actually get his input actually this time. Usually I'll just show him builds when I'm done. And when it came to which front door I was using, and I think which columns I ended up using in conjunction with those darker railings outside, he helped me with that. So he helped me pick the front door, and he ended up helping me pick the white columns. I was going back and forth between, should we do white columns or black columns, because we do have some white accents, but also we are going for more of a cozy, more darker colored scheme here. And so he helped me, and it was really nice. And then when I continued building and I was like, okay, thank you for your help, you're off the hook, he was like, when you do your voiceover, are you gonna tell everyone that I helped you? And I was like, yeah, I can if you want me to. And I feel like he wanted me to, and to be honest, I probably was going to anyway. But so thanks, babe, if you're listening to this. You probably aren't, because I get weird about you listening to my voiceovers, but anyway, we are into the kitchen now, and I ended up going for this white and black color scheme, which goes because that's kind of what the exterior looks like. But I really wanted this to be a cozy home, and you can definitely find ways to make this cozy, of course, but I don't know, when I started going for cozy, when I was thinking of cozy in my head, before I even picked this, reference photo, before I picked this color scheme for the exterior, I knew I wanted the inside to be nice and warm. Lots of wood tones, lots of darker, warm colors, not really many cool colors. And obviously, these are more cool colors, especially white. And I ended up switching it out for... I keep the same I keep the same counters and cabinet tops, but I just end up changing the swatch to the more deep wood tone. It's like, the traditional kind of orangey wood tone. I don't know, but then it ends up looking really good. I do love what I ended up doing with the kitchen, and I ended up placing an island with this offset bar stool. It's not a functional bar stool. I mean, your Sims actually might sit on it. I haven't tried. Your Sims might end up sitting on it, but I do end up cluttering it up and just kind of making it look like a surface that just kind of gathers clutter a little bit. I think I place a grocery bag and what would you call that? Kind of like a fruit basket, but it's the one from Cottage Living that is like a legit basket that you would take cherry picking or something. But I just think it looks really cute, and here it is. And as I get further into the build, especially when it comes to the backyard portion of the build, I do end up making at least come across that this Sim, or one of the Sims that lives here, is really into gardening. So I really love the idea of the oversized crops. I think it's really cool to have your Sims be able to compete, and I haven't really done that too much yet. I think I've maybe had one Sim compete with pies before, but I've never tried to really make their crops huge. And to be honest, obviously not in real life, in game, with my own two eyes, I haven't seen the really big crops yet. I've only seen it in the Cottage Living trailer and maybe in some other people's screenshots of different builds and gameplays of theirs and things like that. So I would like to be able to do that on my own at least one time. So I figured maybe the Sim that lives here, or one of the Sims that lives here, is really into growing large crops, and maybe that's how they make their money. If their crops aren't super oversized and not big enough to compete, then they can just sell them in the little market center. And I just thought that would be kind of a cute idea, because I've never really done that. A lot of the times I am just extremely family oriented with my gameplay, and a lot of the times I'm like, I don't have time. So this time it would be nice if I do get around to actually playing a family in this build. It would be really cool to be able to do that. But here I'm totally struggling with the wallpaper, or the tiling, whatever you want to call it. I could not for the life of me figure out how I wanted this kitchen to look. Again, obviously still wanted it to be very cozy, very warm feeling, but I just felt like I couldn't find a good wallpaper, so I ended up sticking with this one. I'm pretty sure it's just base game. It's really good for bathrooms. I love this wallpaper for bathrooms, especially minimalistic bathrooms, or more of a contemporary bathroom. I think it looks really good. It's very much something that you would see in bathrooms today, and I feel like it almost has kind of this DIY look to it. I don't know. I follow so many different DIY and homemaker people on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, but either way, I'm trying to pick a couch right now, and once again, I was like, okay, this white couch is just not doing it for me. It's not warm enough. It's not cozy enough. So we ended up going with this base game couch here, and I do like these couches. Sometimes they look a bit Victorian to me, but overall, if you really look at them and you kind of decorate around them properly, they can look very farmhousey, almost rustic. So I thought it did go well here. I do end up layering these two rugs, one from Cottage Living and one from the Nifty Knitting pack. And I think I clutter up this living room just a tad. I do end up having this household have a cat, or at least a pet, but I do place a cat scratcher eventually. I think I do it off screen later on, but I do end up placing that taller, it looks like a giant branch or like twig or tree trunk kind of cat scratcher in the living room. So you will see that in the screenshots. And I place a cat litter box in this downstairs bathroom / laundry room situation. And I do place one of the cat condos out on the back porch because I didn't know where else to put one by the time I was like, ooh, we never really put a place for the cat to like sleep and hang out and stuff. So I ended up placing it back there, and I've actually seen that. And to be honest, I do have 2 cats, but if I had a house and I wanted to put like this giant cat tree or cat condo somewhere, I don't think it's the worst thing to do it outside, especially if you're cool with your cats being outdoors. So I ended up placing that out there, and that also might be off camera. I really can't remember because sometimes when I go to like finish my builds and just do the last couple of details, I will add things, and then when I go to play test, I'll realize like, oh, I don't really like the way this looks, let's add this. And if it's the slightest bit of change, I don't feel the need to put it into a speed build because I feel like it doesn't really matter, and you'll see it in the screenshots anyhow. Now it looks like we have moved on into this bathroom / laundry room. So I was originally going to make it a half bath without like a shower or a tub or anything. There ends up only being a shower. But originally I was just going to place a toilet and a sink and then make it primarily a laundry room. But I had the room for a shower over off in this little like tucked corner. So it's a half bath, or no, it's not a half bath. Hello. It's a full bath with a washer and dryer. So this would be the bathroom that your guests use, that your Sims probably use when they're downstairs, whether they're cooking, doing homework, hanging out with their friends, like whatever the situation may be. Lots of people use this bathroom, and it's kind of nice because it's still very spacious even though it is a multifunctional room. I did struggle with the layout of this room. I think I cut out a little bit of it, but I was just going back and forth constantly with how many counters I wanted in here, what shelves I was going to put in here, if I was going to put a mirror above the sink. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was able to fit the cat box or like the litter box in here, so that was really nice that I was able to do that because I was afraid that it was going to make either the toilet or the shower unfunctional, dysfunctional, non-functional. I don't really know. But either way, they all work. It all works. But actually, now that I think about it, when I play tested here, I did not have a cat with me. But I'm pretty sure it's fine. And if it's not, then there's so many other places I feel that you could find the space for the cat litter box. But now we've moved on into the sunroom. It's very simple. We ended up just placing these 2 base game little love seats in here with a candle and a plant. The laundry day rug, or no, that's the cats and dogs rug, I'm pretty sure, and art easel and some art, and that was that. I wanted to keep it simple. I just wanted it to be like a nice cozy area, like I said, for someone to read a book maybe, and especially do art. And I just figured that that would be perfect. Now we've moved on upstairs into the first bedroom. So this is, I imagined, a child's bedroom. I made it a little bit more feminine. So as I was starting to build and kind of furnish, I guess I should say, I figured that this house would be really good for a single parent. And I thought that this would be a good room for a little girl, like a child sim, and then the other bedroom would be good for either a teenage sim or a young adult sim that's maybe at university. So I ended up making that other bedroom for the university or high school student very different compared to the rest of the build, but I felt like it just kind of made sense because of personality and age. So it doesn't end up looking cozy at all. It's still a very nice and cute room. I would live in it myself, but it doesn't totally fit into the cozy theme, I guess. But I do end up making all the other rooms, the other 2 bedrooms, very cozy, I would say. So this room I felt was very pink, so therefore I felt it was very feminine, and I ended up just kind of cluttering it up with some toys. I try to always fit as many activities in a child's bedroom as possible, but sometimes I just don't really know like where to put them. Like sometimes just certain things, all the toys are just so big. You know what I mean? That's just what I'm trying to say. The oversized stuffed animals are huge. You can size them down. You can size down the toy boxes as well, and the little doll houses. They're just so bulky. But as you can see, we've added some cat decals. So I figured, especially since this household does have a cat, I thought it would be really nice to have lots of cat decals and cat details in that bedroom. And maybe the cat is this little girl's, or maybe she convinced one of her parents to get a cat, and it kind of in turn it's hers, or the cat prefers hanging out with her. I just thought that would be kind of a nice storyline and characteristic, like she's really into cats. And since she does live in Brindleton Bay, maybe she ends up working at the veterinary clinic or ends up owning the veterinary clinic. Just ideas there to throw out for you. But we've now moved on into the teen or young adult's bedroom. I haven't really decided. It could really be either or. So I end up making it pretty basic. And when I say basic, not too cluttered. If you guys have seen any of my builds, or you follow me over on Instagram and see my screenshots here and there, you probably have noticed I do like to clutter up my builds, especially kitchens. I can go ham with the kitchen clutter, but I end up making this one a bit more basic, more clean, very sleek. We have all these sharp-edged pieces of furniture here from Dream Home Decorator. I just thought it goes well in this room. It doesn't go well with the rest of the build, but it does go well for this sim. And this sim maybe doesn't even, maybe they're not really into the whole fall aesthetic or the cozy aesthetic. They're just kind of here for the ride, they're just going to university, they're just studying, or they're in high school and they want to go to university, so either way they're still studying. And I do end up placing some what I feel are more like video game oriented posters in their bedroom. So maybe the sim is really into video games, so I did give them a laptop, but also that's why I wasn't really sure if I wanted to be a college student, because as a university student in The Sims, it is very beneficial and helpful to have a laptop. You can study on there. You have to do your term papers on there. So, you ultimately need a computer or a laptop in order to be a university student in The Sims. So it could be either or it could be both. So there's nothing against, wanting to play video games all the time and be a college student. And I end up placing just some of these like free placing shelves up on this wall. This is functional. Sometimes I get a little weird about placing shelves above beds, because if you place them too low, sometimes it can make the beds non-functional. But everything in this house has been play tested. Everything is functional, except I did tell you about the cat litter box. I'm not totally sure if your cats can access it, but I'm pretty sure they can. And if not, you can just move it in game even. So not that big of a deal. Now we've moved on into the master bedroom, or the primary bedroom. So I end up making this room very feminine as well. So I was thinking maybe more along the lines of that this is a single mom, and you could totally have 2 parents living here. But since I made one of the bar stools down in the kitchen essentially non-functional, I figured it would just be perfect to have 3 Sims living here. So I was thinking maybe more along the lines of a single parent, but overall this is just a cozy fall build. It's not specific to any family necessarily. So 4 Sims, 3 Sims, even 2 Sims, totally fine. It could even be like a roommate situation where you have a roommate in one of the other bedrooms. It's up to you guys. So if you do want to download this build off of the gallery, my EA ID is ashleyyangelinaa with 2 Y's and 2 A's at the end of Angelina. And if you want to follow me over on Instagram, which you should, we're getting close to, I think, 600 followers. I've had my channel for a little while. I think I started this channel in March, which is when I made my Instagram for this channel. So we've had it for a few months now, quite a few months now. We are coming up to November, which is so crazy. But you can follow me over on Instagram. My name is exactly the same as it is on the gallery, ashleyyangelinaa, with 2 Y's and 2 A's at the end of Angelina. And I also made a Twitter. Unfortunately, I'm not as active on Twitter because I just honestly forget that I even have a Twitter. But my tag over there, or my handle, is ashleyyangelinaa with 2 Y's and 1 A at the end of Angelina. Either way though, we are finishing up this bedroom. I just ended up placing that little ottoman at the foot of the bed from laundry day. Figured we already have so many laundry day items here anyhow, so doesn't hurt, and it goes really well with the color scheme. It ended up being very pink and kind of this like warm yellowish orangey color up there, but ends up being very cute. As you can see, I have these pumpkins on the front porch, but I do end up getting rid of them. So even though Halloween is in the fall, when it was coming to screenshots and I was, completely done with landscaping, the house looked very cute, very cozy, even on the outside. I felt like the pumpkins just didn't go. And I don't know, they didn't stick out like a sore thumb. It just didn't give off that cozy vibe to me. So I ended up getting rid of them, and you can easily add them back. I thought it would be kind of nice to keep them at the same time though, because like I said, I did envision at least one child living here. So naturally, most kids probably are into carving pumpkins, and I got rid of it. So whatever, I don't think you guys will mind too much. As long as this house is functional and fun to play in, I'm a happy camper, and I'm sure you guys are too. So back here in this slightly more small gated off area is where I end up placing the oversized crop patches. I believe when you do download this off of the gallery, if you do decide to do so, there will be oversized crops here. And if you're unfamiliar with the Cottage Living pack, there are 5 oversized crops. There is eggplant, which is called something else in game, which I'm not going to attempt to even say because I don't know how to pronounce it. There's pumpkins, lettuce, watermelon, and mushrooms. So your sim has all 5 pre-planted in the downloaded version of this build. And there are 4 other garden beds as well in the backyard, but I actually don't believe that those have anything in them when you go to download this off of the gallery. So it kind of gives you guys some free reign, but also already some crops growing for you. And if you don't even like the idea of the oversized crops, you can delete them and put regular plants and vegetables and fruits and whatever your heart desires back in that little area. I just thought it would be kind of nice to keep it separate because, if I was the sim that was living here, I would want my oversized crops to be in their own area, and then all of my other vegetables and herbs and things like that in its own area as well. And up in this front yard area, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to place like a car or if I wanted to place a swing set or what I wanted to do here. And it's been a while since I've made a pond. I think the last time I actually built a pond in one of my builds was several months ago when Cottage Living came out. And when I say several months ago, it kind of makes it sound like forever ago. It does feel like forever ago though. I had built this really cute farmhouse, which you can also find on my channel. I did a speed build on it. It was a bit longer of a speed build. It was probably like 30 minutes or something, but not far off from this build. This build's like 25 minutes, but either way, I haven't built a pond in a while, so I thought it would be kind of nice to incorporate one here. Plus, it goes really well with the whole Cottage Living thing, even though it is part of base game. I ended up totally cutting out all of the footage though, where I was adding things to the pond and kind of cluttering up the outside of it, just because the ponds sometimes look a bit awkward if you don't put plants around it, at least in my opinion. I'm sure that there's builders out there that can make them look bomb without having to do that, but I feel like I had to. I do end up having 2 bikes on this lot, mostly just for aesthetic. I very rarely have my Sims actually ride around on their bikes, but it is kind of a nice thing for screenshots to have. And they're functional as well, which is perfect. They're essentially vehicles in The Sims, so it's nice to have your Sims be able to have some form of transportation. I really wish we would get cars. I don't see it happening at this point. And if it did, I would be ecstatic. But Either way, we're just kind of finishing up the final touches here, adding some more terrain paint just to make everything look a bit more natural. And we're going to be coming up on the screenshots here in just a moment. So thank you guys so much for watching this build. I hope you did enjoy it. And like I said, follow me over on Instagram, ashleyyangelinaa, with 2 Y's and 2 A's at the end of Angelina. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe so you can see my future builds. I would love to have more of you subscribers. I really do love hearing from you guys here and on Instagram. So just follow me over on all my socials, and I hope to see you guys in a future build. Bye. By the time you guys are watching this, I am gonna be on a flight back from Ohio. And yeah, at this point, I'm on my way home. I'm sure I had a lot of fun. It's kind of cool talking to my future self. Also, when you guys have layovers in other states, do you then count that as a state that you've been to? Because if so, then I've been to 3 new states within 4 days. So that's pretty cool for me.